Welcome to the Coach Speak podcast, built for coaches, by coaches, hosted by Jamie Bolton and Dustin Martin. Sponsored by Ray Crowther, providing the nation's best athletic training equipment since 1932. And R4 Football Systems. Accelerate everything by decoding the game.
Hey guys, welcome back to Coach Speak. Dustin Martin here with Jamie Bolton, and a very special guest back tonight, our good friend PJ Katz from over at Pro Quick Draw. Man, I'm looking forward to tonight. It's crazy. I think he was on episode 12 and we're already at episode 35. So we want to shout out to our sponsors for this episode, Tsunami Bar Sports and Team Builder Practice.
Yeah, guys, we're in the thick of conference play here, and we're thrilled to have one of our favorite guests, Coach PJ Katz. He's the offense coordinator at Alpharetta High School in Georgia. Coach, thanks for carving out some time, man. I know it's been a busy schedule. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me back. I've been seeing the names of guys you've been pulling on this thing, so I just feel honored to still be welcome around here. You guys are doing big things, and I'm proud of both of you.
Well, thanks, man. We don't pay attention a lot to numbers, but when yours released, it still is like one of the biggest ones that we've had.
You could just say it's the top one. Like
it's the top one, man. It's the top. It's absolutely. It's
top one in my heart, Coach. Top one in my heart.
I don't even pay attention to it, but it's definitely up there. But man, we appreciate it, man. But yeah, man, we've had you on a few months back, and coaches love the clarity on the install and the quarterback development. Today's about the mid-season, kind of what's going on there, what's working, what's changed, and talk to us a little bit about the install process and how. Have you stuck with that install, or have you had to change some things kind of moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. You're always changed a little bit. I think you're always adapting, right? Or you're dying. So, I mean, I've edited a little bit of what I need to do for the kids I have now. For example, here at Alpharetta, we just don't have big numbers right now. So I got a lot of kids playing both ways. So it just is what it is, right? Your best got to go. So I've had to be even more detailed with the installs. We've gone to using a wristband as a part of the system, which isn't technically like Pro Quick Draw, but I took that mindset and said, all right, how can I, VLOOKUP, populate a wristband off my calls with the click of a button? Because I don't want to sit there and build wristbands all day, right? So it's just always continuing to find ways to teach the kids you got right now, because they all learn differently. They all, I think when I took this job where I thought they would be possibly like football knowledge-wise, isn't where I wanted them to be. So we've worked on catching that up to understand kind of like, all right, why do we run this concept? Can you self-correct, right? And I'm still working on that every day of like, hey, slam flat on a naked doesn't mean you just touch the guy and then run. We have to protect C-gap so the quarterback can do his fake and get out. Well, how do we teach that? How do we correct it? So I've kind of gone back to the basics a little bit with that, which makes you turn over every stone, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, that old, hey, knucklehead, you can't even get a chance to catch the ball if you don't pin the end. Like, if you don't pin the end, it's you're not going to, like, you may get out in the flats and look pretty for the pictures, but, like, the quarterback's going to get hit. I dealt with that at Walkable my first year calling plays. It was like, we just couldn't get through, and it was like, we had to take 10 to 15 minutes to break it down and have them stand 10 yards behind and watch the play develop and say, listen, this is why it's so important. But you hit on a part that I think me and Jamie and our staff is working through is having those two-way players, even at the 5A South Carolina level, the biggest division. It's like, we have a couple kids that are going to go both ways, and it may not be the whole game, but it's majority of the game. But sometimes you don't think about the logistics and the planning of, how do they get enough indie and group time on each side of the ball to be effective, and sometimes you got to dial scheme back a little bit, or like you said, go wristbands or do something different. And so we've been going through that as well. We definitely understand.
Before we get into segment one, we're going to talk a little bit about our first sponsor, and then we'll get into Coach's new job and his new offense in detail. But coaches, we're deep in the season. Guys are beat up. Practices are shorter. Some may not be shorter. Maybe you still got the same practice length, but you need to make them more powerful and explosive on Friday nights. That's where Tsunami Bar Sports comes in. Their bars are flexible. They have a design that creates variable resistance, forcing athletes to stabilize and fire more muscle fibers on every rep. Here's what that means for us. We can get quality reps and speed work done in season without frying the nervous system. Our linemen love it for developing strike power, our skill guys for faster hips, and the best part, it keeps legs fresh while still building strength. If you want to train smarter, not just harder, and keep your players peaking when it matters most, check out Tsunami Bar Sports. We use it, we believe in it, and it's made a noticeable difference on the field this fall. Yeah, guys, so we're in segment 1. Coach, you had your install back in June. We talked just a little bit about that. You made some tweaks. What are some things that what are some install items that made the cut, like that, you've carried through all your stops as an OC?
Man, well, I mean, the biggest thing is kind of how I identify formations, right? That's just something I'm never going to give up, right? The way that I do that. We're doing a lot differently formationally here, pre-snap, due to we're running the quarterback a lot more than I ever have. My quarterback right now is our leading rusher. I think he's like 105, 106 a game, about 15 to 20 carries. I mean, it is what it is. I got to run him. He's our best runner. He's our best player. We're gonna live and die that way. And the old me would be like, well, what if he gets hurt? Well, I mean, if he gets hurt, no matter what, like, we're in trouble because we need him on the field. So he gives us our best chance to win running the football. So we've created, not new formations to football, but new formations to me. But I'm going to keep them in my D and T word family, or my B and C if it's bunches or clusters, right? So just trying to make sure that the wheel has definitely gotten recreated a little bit, right? I don't. This is my first year truly ever running the quarterback. On the wristband, on the color code, right? If it's color coded with yellow, that means it's possible quarterback run, and there's a heck of a lot of yellow on there. But so it's challenged me to make sure that formationally I'm setting it up to give him the best chance to, if the pull's there, to pull it. If it's a straight quarterback run, do we have it blocked up well? Because I also don't want to put him like, hey, you're going to be at the point of attack, just put your nose down. Like, this ain't Jerome Bettis, okay? He's a big kid, but that's kind of been a challenge to me this year that, I've really enjoyed. And he's gotten better each week, making the right reads. When do I pull and pitch? When is it okay to maybe take a little bit of a gamble? And that's been fun to watch his growth and maturation that way.
Yeah, it's really fun to have, I'm in the same, we're kind of always in the same boat. When you take a new job, you don't know the personnel as well, and you got to figure that out on the fly. And something that we're kind of going through too is like, well, there's different challenges everywhere. And it's almost like it's easy to say, man, I can't really do exactly what I've been doing at previous stops. So now I have to adapt. And I think that makes you a better coach, obviously. And so whenever you have those challenges, I always try to remind myself, like, this is a blessing to have this challenge because it's going to make me and force me to do something outside my comfort zone. And if it's running the quarterback or a different run scheme, or even utilizing athletes on both sides of the ball and adapting practice to make that work, I think all those can make you a better coach moving forward when you have those challenges when you see them.
Yeah, we've gone through 4 different practice plans to just figure out what's the best way to do this. And we're still in this is going to be game 7 for us. And this week we feel pretty good about where we're at with the reps we've gotten, the indie time, the group time. But I mean, it's a daily conversation of like, how do we make this puzzle fit? Where, at Brookwood, it was like 2 platoon, like offense go, defense go, we'll come together when we need to come together. We might share 2 or 3 players here and there, where this has been completely different. And, I'm enjoying it. And again, the
Sure.
fruits of your labor aren't really showing yet. I'm not sitting there saying we're 6-0 and everything's working, right? We're fighting the good fight every day. But I do feel very confident in that we're putting in the work to give our kids the best chance, and not cutting corners and doing what we need to do. And, that's why you should be in coaching, right? And then, yes, we got to win or we won't be around. But, that's not our why. We don't focus on the end result. Right? We got to stay focused on, how can I make these wristbands better, right? How can I communicate better? And then all that will come with it.
What are y'all doing as far as JV goes, Coach? Do y'all kind of practice together, or tell us a little bit about that? I like hearing like the developmental phase, because that's your future. And if you aren't making sure that like, obviously Friday nights are top priority. Like that's where you need to win. No one remembers if JV went undefeated other than the people who are associated with JV. But tell me how y'all prioritize your developmental programs to make sure your future is going to continue at what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, again, with our low numbers, a lot of our JV guys are playing on Fridays now, right? So they're getting trial by fire, right? Like, get your hiney in there and let's see what happens. But overall, what we always want to do, right, is number one, in any Indian group time, there's always a JV section going on. So like if I'm doing screens in group time against bags or barrels, like the varsity does it. And then as soon as they get done, the JV's popping up and they're getting their rep, right? Same play. I'm not dumbing it down because they're JV. No, you do exactly what the varsity does. So I think that's beneficial. The other part is in team segments during the water break, right? Whatever for your varsity guys, because we are doing a lot of crossing over. We have a rack of 3 or 4 plays for the JV. And now, we talked and who's your scout team? Well, your JV's your scout team. Well, guys, you got to go. We got to get your reps. We got to get you better. And, we're not going at this super fast pace. You'll be okay. Right. So because you can get in there and let's get your reps now. Scout offense, you just ran 8 plays of our opponents. Now you're going to come in and run 3 or 4 of mine. Right. And then we'll give you the break. We'll flip this thing and we'll go. So you just have to make it a priority. And as you know, as a coach, man, even if practice is dragging a little bit, maybe you're not having a great day, like you can't just say, all right, skip the JV part, because now you're hurting next year and the year after. So you can't do that.
Yeah, that's a morale thing too. I think even if if it's a challenging year, one of the big things you can do is make sure that JV team has some success. And you got those young kids in your program that are kind of buying into the system and they're like, okay, I see this working for me and then in our team. And maybe the varsity's kind of, they're having a tough year, but man, when we get up there, we're going to be ready. And I think that's big. We've seen so many different, I've done it so many different ways at different schools. The previous school that I was at, we actually split practice, and there's definitely negatives and positives to all this stuff. It's kind of whatever works at your school, and we would practice varsity offense and JV defense. And so so we had a lot of crossover players there too. And so that really is the reason we did it. But I guess in addition to that, the other goal was to get the JV players ready to go. And so now they can have the same type of practice. Now, if you're not a crossover player, you get extra Indy on defense. You get extra group periods on defense. And then the opposite would be true for varsity offense. So when we go varsity offense, or the same would be true for the other side. So, man, it really helped our JV development, and it actually gave us more Indy time with our guys. So it actually, with a little bit longer practice, I felt like we got a lot more in than just kind of splitting, simultaneously going offense and defense out the entire practice. But Dustin, what did you guys do? Like that, what experience have you had?
Yeah, coaches, we all know weekends are extremely busy between self-evaluating and game planning for the next opponent. But it doesn't have to mean long nights buried in film and spreadsheets. With optimum grading, you can cut the grind way down while actually getting better results. The platform streamlines your grading process, gives you cleaner reports, and makes it simple to share feedback with your staff, players, and even college coaches. That means less time on busy work and more time where it really counts, coaching your team, preparing for the next opponent, or even spending those extra hours with your family. Optimum Grading was built by coaches who get the grind and is designed to give you your weekends back without sacrificing the details your players need. More coaching, less paperwork. That's the optimum difference. If you're looking to take your team to the next level and save some time on the weekends, head over to OptimumGrading.com. Schedule a demo and use the promo code CoachSpeak for 10% off. So I remember at York when we were early GA coaches, that's what we did with the ninth and the JV. So instead of doing it varsity wise, we did that ninth and JV. You had 5 offensive coaches, 5 defense, flipped it. But that's all I've kind of ever known is do it that way. Like if you want to make sure that the because what I think is beneficial about that is the kids are getting the same coaching. Obviously, if you retain staff year to year, like you're going to have DBs being coached by the same 3 DB coaches from 9th grade all the way till varsity. And where I think big programs excel and successful programs is when you get a rising 10th or a rising junior, and you don't have to teach them 101 stuff. You don't have to teach them your stance. You don't have to teach them, what's the base back pedal drop at corner or what's our base alignment. If you can hit the ground running and focus more just on technique and scheme, then you're already ahead of a lot of places. And I think, when you look at practices, if you go everybody offense, everybody defense, or split practice like we're talking about, it's probably going to be a 2 hour, 10-minute practice. It just, that's what you have to do. But I mean, if you're going 2 platoon and you're already going 2.5 hours, you might as well split practice and go offense for an hour, defense for an hour, but with special teams mixed in. Because like to me, I feel like 2 platoon, the benefit of that is shortened practice. like you're hitting the same different sides of the ball at the same time to achieve a more efficient and quicker practice, in my opinion.
And you still have to incorporate JV, because if you're going to split it like that, you would have to use a JV scout. But if you service each other, that's when it kind of gets long. Yeah. But, each program's different,
Yeah, when I was at Brookwood in our early days, like we had a JV staff, right? Like the numbers were high. Like we had a JV staff. Like they went to a different field with the JV and they had their own season. And when they were done, they joined the varsity. So we had a ninth grade, a JV, and a varsity, and none of it ever practiced together. And again, a lot of games were won doing it that way. And then, last few years at Brookwood, JV came up with varsity, right? And we were all together, but we had really high numbers. So it was pretty one platoon, like, what is this kid best at? Let's get him good at that. And that's what you did. My good buddy Tyler Arndt, who's at North Oconee, who's built that into an absolute power here in Georgia. They just won the state championship last year. He has this whole system because he has good numbers, right? But it's not like he can one platoon it. So we kind of stole from him a little bit. Like he's got like 4 different like groupings, right? So it can be like, all right, red Indy. Okay, well, I'm on red Indy, I'm a guard. All right, black Indy. Well, now I'm a D end. All right, silver team. Okay, well, now on silver team, I'm back to being a guard. So he has all these different groupings to try to put, when I want good on good or best on best, or I want a strong JV offense and the starting varsity defense, how can I group that together? And, I think he's got a whole presentation on it. He has done a heck of a job with how to organize that and make sure that your kids, for him, on both sides of the ball, they are getting the reps, they're getting the endo time. And it's pretty impressive what he put together. And we stole it. And we're trying to utilize it. Now, as you pour into the season, right, you start kind of pushing, all right, this kid is a D end, right? He's a D end all day, every day. And if we get into 12 personnel, we'll throw him in at tight end. He'll block down and, whatever. But really in the springtime and the summertime and early in the year, we had, Raider offense, right? Alpharetta defense. We had a, red defense, black offense, silver. We had all these different things to just try to put kids in the best situation for them and for us.
Right. And I like that too, because sometimes you don't know, especially a young kid, 9th or 10th grade kid, where they're going to pan out. So why not train them on both sides of the ball early? And then that way you can identify where they're going to be when they get to varsity, or they may be a two-way player, but they now have the reps. Now you're not waiting. Okay, he's a junior. He's been training at guard his whole career. And now he's like, well, dang, this kid could be a really good, D tackle or whatever the case may be, or H back or whatever. And it's like, well, we wouldn't have known that, because he just played guard his whole career. So I like that a lot. I think that's a really good way just to identify, the positives in your program.
Yeah, it's been good for us. And again, I'm not the founder of it. I always pass on credit when it's due, and his presentation on it, it's incredible, and we stole it.
Yeah, definitely something I'd like to see. The type A in me started twitching a little bit when you started talking about it, man.
I like that now.
But see, and the funny thing is, like, I think it was a year or two ago in the spring, I tried doing that. Like, we just had groups. That way I could dictate. Everybody's getting reps in the spring. And then next thing you know, there's a lacrosse banquet Tuesday night in the middle of practice. And it's like, we're missing 3 from group 1, 2 from group 2. And I'm like, oh, so much for that. All right, guys, let's just piece together what we got.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about mid-season adjustments. We're kind of in this mode where we've probably gone through a couple of, for me, I've only done one, real self-scout, because I feel like we had a lot of like change and turnover in personnel. So it was like hard to get a real sample size. But if you have a real sample size, Coach, talk a little bit about how you've used that data, and what data did you use to kind of make changes and edits to kind of how you've been, producing your offense.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be careful first, right? Like, as an offensive coordinator, as an offensive coach, you have what you're really good at, and you need to find a way to just keep running it, right? If you're really good at 3x1 attach, pin and pull, run it. Like, I don't care if they know it's coming, right? If you're averaging 5.6 yards a carry on it, who cares? Put a little lipstick on the pig and let's rock and roll. So, the big things I want to look at, right, is just making sure that I'm not giving something away that's just straight obvious that they then could impact me back with how they could call to it. right? A certain shift is equaling this concept, right? If every time you shift or motion, you do this, then they're going to trigger something up for that, right? So I try to stay away from that and see what I can marry up with it, right? Our best 2-point play right now, we're 2 for 3 on it. Okay. And the third one was a batted ball and the guy was wide open. So I'm going to run it again this week. We've just added a different formation with it with a different motion. It's the same concept, right? I'm not going to go recreate. The quarterback understands it. He likes it. He knows where his eyes need to be. We're not going to put in something that I saw on Saturday on TV, especially with this group, right? Now, my 21 group at Brookwood, when Dylan was at quarterback, we could do that and it would work because those kids were just different. Right now, our kids are very confident in what we're doing, and I'm just trying to make sure we keep doing it and we're not giving things away with pre-snap, identification. It's funny. Last week we were playing North Atlanta, and they're going through their warm up, and their defense is up, right, and the offense is running our plays. And warm up, and I hear the kids out there like screaming out the play based on the formation. Like, here comes counter Trey, watch pin and pull, and it's like, okay. And then in the game, we lined up in a little different formation, but we ran counter Trey, we ran pin and pull, and we did it with a lot of success. So my big thing with that is just be careful. You're also dealing with high school kids on both sides, for you and for your opponent. You're dealing with high school coaches who we all have so much to do. We can't turn over every stone. We can't, if the left tackle's shoes untied, they're running, buck sweep. So just be careful, right? Don't go down the weeds too much of that.
It's the old famous, I don't care if they know what we're doing, they still got to stop it.
Right.
Because, Coach,
Correct.
We were in a game a couple weeks ago, and we all knew the other team was getting ready to fake the 4th and 4 punt. I literally tell one of our corners, hey, guys, they're faking it, sweep right. It's coming right here. Like, we're 7 yards away from each other because he's at the bottom of the numbers. And they snap it to the up back, and they run sweep right, and we still don't stop them. And I'm like everybody knew it was a fake. We called it. I knew what the play was. I saw the signal. I knew it was some kind of fake. And I said, hey, man, it's coming right here. And it did, and we still didn't stop it. So it's like, you can still know what it is, but if you got the right dudes, it don't matter.
It comes down to details and execution. I mean, like you said, Coach, like putting a little lipstick on it. Like even last week, we did a little shift to one of our favorite concepts, and I could see the defensive coordinator on film after the fact, and he's changing the coverage like as we're shifting, but it didn't matter. Like they even got it in. They were like, oh, they even got the coverage. They like rolled up on number 1 to the boundary, and we still completed it. But it's just little things like that. It's like, don't overthink. I always have to remind myself that, like, don't overthink it. Go back to what I know, what I'm comfortable with, what our kids are comfortable with, and then maybe present it just a little bit different. We just talked to Noah Mazzoni last week, and he's like saying the exact same stuff. And he's like, look, we're a 3-man snag team or whatever it is. It's like, that's what we're going to do, and people know it. And I think even you said it last time. I like your quote. It's like, it's not a matter of like, yeah, they may know what I do, but it's also like when we're going to do it too. That's also a thing. So
play calling is timing, right? Timing is everything with play calling. And it's like, how do you predict? How do you like who's good at it, who's not? Like all that stuff, man. It's such a feel when it comes to it. I feel like Coach Kiffin's one of the, Lane, he's one of the best ones at that, especially right now at Ole Miss. It's like when they press the button, it's like every time that rocket fires off. But my O-line guy always tight ends in O-line with me right now, Zach Underwood. We've been running wing, like old school single wing. We've been always lining up in what we call wing right. Well, in game 4, we did wing left. The plays didn't change. Right. We just got in the huddle and said, okay, when we break the huddle, you 4 go this way first and get lined up. And then you 2 come over here and get lined up. It's the same place. And, first time we did it, the defense over there looked like a Chinese fire drill. Right. And so it's like, we didn't need a new play. We just switched the side we ran it to. And it had a lot of success. I mean, we sealed the game with getting in wing left and running outside zone. And we had only done wing right outside zone. Right. So I just try
the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing defensively too. Like when you scout a team, you got like 4 films on them. It's like kind of doing the same stuff every game. It's like they're not. So what that tells me is like they're not scheming them up. You
Right.
know, if they're
Yeah.
formation, if they're a coverage based on formation, then it's not really going to matter what our concept is.
Yeah.
They're just going to line up and play whatever that coverage is to that particular formation. Like they're not, hey,
They're
this
just
team
hoping they
runs a
can
lot of
execute.
snag, so we're going to run,
Yeah.
3 buzz or whatever. Like they're not
And I
doing
think
it.
that's where, when you start learning more about defensive technique, that's how you start gashing teams. It's like, okay, they're a quarters team with 2 to the boundary to 2x2. Okay, great. Let's see, how are they playing the cover 2 technique in the boundary? Like, are they just obliterating middle school collisioning number 1 and not sinking? Okay, well, we're just going to run some kind of quick smash or slot fade and just throw the whole shot. You know what I mean? Okay, they start, all right, let's see how the safety plays it in the boundary. Okay, he opens his hips, cookie cutter 2, and turns straight to the sideline. All right, well, how we're going to have our Piper cross route coming to the middle of the field. It's like, it's more of that. And like, Coach, you hit on something too. And I think from a defensive standpoint, like you said, play calling is all about timing. I think something I think about calling defense is every call I have based on the film I watch, there's 1 or 2 plays I'm like, I really hope they don't run this play when I make this call. Like that's how I feel defensively. It's like 8 out of 10 plays that they run, we're going to be okay. But there's always that one, if they catch us in this, great, and we ran a little double mug read stunt on the center this year, and we were peeling with our defensive end, and they ghost motion the back before the ball snap. And I'm like, well, let's see if the DN peels right here. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He does not peel. So the running back, or the guy who's supposed to cover the tray tight end, goes with the back. But thankfully, they kept the tight end in for protection. And I told our kids when we watched film, I said, listen, sometimes it's a gamble. Luckily, they didn't release the tight end on the seam. Like we got lucky. We won that play. But there are some calls on my sheet where I'm like, really hope they don't call this play right here. And, like you said, it's all about timing.
I give our defensive guys a hard time too. Because it's like they're always trying in practice to call the perfect defense to the play that they know is coming. And I'm like, guys, if you could do this on Friday night, you would win every game 100-0 or 1-0, right? They're not going to score because you're calling the perfect defense every time. So I think it's sometimes I'm like, can I just mix this up? Like, the 10 plays are going to run. Let me just call random
just
ones.
Mix it. So what I like, what I like is whatever I think our best coverage or coverage is versus what they do 80% of the time, we run on Monday. Tuesday, I run another coverage or 2 or some kind of stunt or mix in to see, okay, what did our kids do best against what we're going to see this week? And then Wednesdays is I let all the bullets out the clip. I'm like, we're getting ready to see what happens with these stunts, these pressures, man coverage, zero coverage. And we're going to see if we can actually stop these plays with a lot of this. And then I'll go back and watch film and say, okay, we're fine with these, but this right here, we can't run this. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I think about it. Let's do the base way we're going to stop them, our adjustment way we're going to stop them, and then unload the clip and see what went well against what they like to do. And, Jamie, so I pick on Jamie every day. That dude runs so many plays. Like I'm like, all right, play 74. How many more we got left? Like, dude, it's so funny, dude. It's like, I'm like over there like yawning.
I was telling somebody, we were kind of joking about it because I've been putting more like plays on our team scripts. I'm like, why am I doing that? And, I don't know, man. Maybe we're searching. Maybe we're searching a little bit. We got a lot of different. We got a lot of different sets, man. We got a lot of different sets we're getting in.
I mean, those are part of our conversation in terms of like keeping the kids fresh. It's like, how many plays can I run at practice? I don't care what they are. How many times can I snap the football? And today at practice, we did 28 on a Wednesday, which for me is very low. Mm-hmm. So I have to be very specific about what I want called, where I will landmark it, right? And then like today with our, because I live call on Wednesdays a lot. So I just tell our defensive staff, like, hey, the 3 calls that we worked Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. I don't care what you call, just pick one of those 3, right? Mm-hmm. And so that way, if they come out in a different front that maybe we haven't seen in 2 days to run pin and pull against, all right, cool, kids, we got to adjust. So it's been a fun challenge to say, okay, you only got this many, right? Yeah. You better
Jamie,
make
how many
it count
today? How many?
We're on 21.
But say
21.
y'all were less than us because like y'all were grooving today.
So
I think we had 30.
Monday, yeah. So like Monday, we our volume's a lot higher on Monday and Tuesday, obviously. So, but Wednesdays is more geared toward like situational. So I
Yes.
only carry, I think we have 7 in each script. So we have three different little scripts that we do: red zone, third down, and goal line. And so when we go through, I might jet a few. I might like repeat a few, especially if it's like an RPO and I want him to hand it off. If he reads it and throws, I'll say jet, and just make sure he hands it off, and I'll tell the linebacker to do whatever read. But other than that, yeah, we're definitely a lot lighter on Wednesday, and that's just for me being mindful of the diminishing returns you get with, I mean, you're close to the game. You don't want to get banged up, man.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and also I think something else to keep in consideration is, are you rotating guys in or are you not? You know what I mean? It's like if you are really wanting your starters to see every single play, it's got to be 10 or less. Like you know what I mean? Like you like and there's always those outliers. Last week, our first drive of the game, it was a 13-play drive on defense. You know what I mean? But thankfully, we did.
Somebody needs to
stop
call
them.
defense to get off the field. All I hear is you need to get your butt off the field.
Ain't no
That's right,
doubt.
man.
Ain't no doubt, man. But
Offense, get ready. No. Go
hang on.
Back to the
Offense,
10.
get ready.
Back to the 10.
Offense, get ready. No, never
Hang
mind.
on.
Hey, offense, hang out. We're gonna wait till 4th down this time.
Yeah. Well, Coach, so, obviously over the weekend, you're looking at some data. What would you say is like the one metric that you like to weigh most on Sundays? Like, do you look at obstruction rate over success rate, conversion rate? Like what is like key outliers that you look that go, hey, we really got to try to improve in this category if we want a chance to win next week? Like what's your main ones?
Yeah, I mean, the two biggest ones right now for kind of how we are as a team is I'm looking at first down and 4th down. My head coach has let me go for it a lot just because, at the end of the day, we're going to get tired because of the way we have to play a lot of guys. So if we cross the 40, he's like, let's see if we can score, like keep the ball, let's go. So I'm obsessing over 1st and 4th down, right? We're averaging going for it 6 times a game right now. So what are the calls we're going to carry, right? And again, don't overthink them too, right? If it's 4th and 2, like I don't need this fancy Statue of Liberty play every time. Like maybe pin and pull will get it done. So I'm kind of looking at those. Those are my two big categories right now that I'm focusing on. Scheme wise, we're so simple. I check and make sure that we're being efficient. And if something is not being efficient, it is out. And if there's something else that could take its place, we do that. Like last week, we put in a little, like 3x1 slant, fame, arrow concept with a backside dig flat. And we went 4 for 5 in the game with it. I ran it 5 times. 4 of them were the exact same formation. And the quarterback was comfortable with it. He read it right, got the ball out of his hands. So I'm like, all right, that needs to get carried this week, but let's shift to the formation or let's motion or let's burst out of the huddle. So, if something's negative, if it's not a core value of the offense, it is gone. Like, see you later. They didn't get it. We shouldn't have done it. That's on me. Bye. If we're struggling at counter and I think we should be a good counter team, then we're going to sit there and pour over that. Why is it not going well? But back to what I said a minute ago, right now, to me, it's 1st and 4th down. I got to stay ahead of the chains to keep the defense off the field. Well, that's 1st down. Right. And then when I get the chance on 4th, if we got to go, we got to have really good thoughts there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now.
Coaches, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Team Builder Practice, the platform built for football coaches who know that culture starts on the practice field. With Team Builder Practice, planning, tracking, and running practices become simple and more efficient so coaches can focus on building their team the right way down to every specific detail. We would like to go into the Team Builder Practice platform and show a sample practice on how to build one step by step. Once you're in the Team Builder Practice software, you can look at recently updated practices or create from scratch. We're going to click the sample plan, and this is where all of your blocks for your practices are held. So the first one obviously is dynamic warm-up. So we're going to go in and add some elements from our library. The first one we'll do is A-skips. We'll go back, we'll add another one. Let's just go with butt kicks, and we'll add just one more just to kind of show you. We'll go karaoke. So now you can also see there's a spot to put a description for what you're looking for. Now let's add a football specific drill. We'll go circle chase drill. This is a great ball security turnover start drill that we do each day. We allocate about around 5 minutes daily for this drill. So we plug it in there, add block. Now you'll notice we'll go to add an element for this block, but there's nothing in our library yet. And we're going to show you how simple it is to do that. So we go to the left side, we go to elements. All we do is we're going to create a library element at the top right. This is a database with all your elements. We'll type circle chase drill. You can add a description here, but I'll add it later. And we're going to put time allowed 5 minutes and hit save. Now it's added to the database of elements that you can add to all of your blocks. You can go a step further by hitting edit. Now we're going to put a common mistake that players do. They think it's a pass deflection drill. So we want to highlight that for our coaches to make sure they know it's not. Then you can add a video of this drill a couple different ways. We're going to do web URL from Google Drive. We go to share, copy the link. We go back over, we paste the link, we add the video, and then we can hit save, and it saves it all to our database. So now we're going to go back over to our sample practice schedule we were working on, go to the circle chase drill block. We're going to add the element library for circle chase. There it goes. Click. And now whenever you share this practice schedule with your coaches, everything is there, including the video sample. They click on it. It takes them exactly to what that drill should look like. It's a one-stop shop. Everything's there. And we just want to shout out to our sponsor, Team Builder Practice, for this valuable tool. And you can get a free 30-day trial with the promo code CoachSpeak.
It makes a lot of sense. I think we've gone through a lot of efficiency things, especially in the run game. And I think that's where I tend to cut most or, rely on others more. But I think it's a lot of it's personnel and like what your kids can do up front. I mean, receivers are going to be able to run particular routes kind of year to year. Most of the pass game is kind of, for me anyway, most of the pass game I can be able to carry throughout each year, each group of kids, but run game is definitely varied for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess that's probably the same for everybody, but that's the one thing and it's hard because you don't know through the summer what your kids can do yet because the pads aren't on. And so you get into the season, it's like, dang, week 3, man, what are we good at? What can we be good at? Are there other schemes that help our kids? And so really going into the details of what do these guards do well? Do they pull well? Do we combo well? Do we pin and pull well? And that's been kind of something too. And the second piece of that, I really focus on obstruction rate, which for us is the 12% rule. It's just like negative plays, sacks, drops, penalties, fumbles lost, all that, and how the percentage of those plays overall. And then the other one is weighing that against the explosive rate. So runs over 12 and passes over 15. And so I think those combined with third down conversions, man, I did our third down conversion after a few weeks, man. And I was very surprised at our third down distance, our average distance. And that told me that we weren't very good on first down for very early in the season. So we've really kind of gone back and thought about, okay, is it the play call? Is it what runs are we running? Are we not running enough quick game? Are we getting a lot of man and, pressure and they're forcing us to throw it? Little things like that. But I think it's good just to have an idea of like what those things are each week. And that way you can tell your kids too, like, look, guys, our obstruction rate was extremely high. Why was it? Well, we had 8 penalties or whatever it was. And I think those kids end up buying into that too. And now you got something to kind of feed back into. Hey, our explosive rate's not great. Well, why is that? Well, we have wide open guys, but we're dropping the ball, or, we're not being able to break enough tackles or whatever it is. But
Yeah, you got to figure out like what can you make them tick with, right? And right now for us, that's where we're at is like, hey guys, I want them to have like extra Superman confidence if on first down we're getting 5 yards, right? They look and it's 2nd and 5 and all of a sudden they're playing better than maybe they actually are because they did what I asked them to do, right? Mental warfare sometimes. And then of course, 4th down's 4th down. Like we got to get it, we want to score. So it's been a fun activity, I guess you could call it, to kind of figure this thing out.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not what I'm used to and not what I've ever had to really worry about. But again, it challenges you. It's not going to make you worse. It's going to make you better. So it's been a process.
I think defensively, we have like 8 or 10 goals, and like I tell the kids every week, I'm like, man, I don't really care about goals. Like I don't like, but the goals that we try to achieve determine whether we're going to win or not. like just straight to it. And like, I think the things I look at the most are, like you said, first down. Are we winning first down? You know, we played a good buddy who was on the pod. We're going to try to get him back on Zeb, the first game of the year. And like, he called me after the game and we were talking, and he said, man, he said, I thought y'all did really well on first down. He said, when we were trying to call some plays, we were tough because y'all won first down is what we felt like. You know, it's like, man, it's 3rd and 9. Like, do we have a good run play right here? You know what I mean? It's like what? So I like looking at first down, but then we want to hold yards per rush and yards per attempt is what we look at. And I really can see the games where yard per attempt is up because first down wasn't very good. But with the games we play better on first down, they rush for less per rushing attempt. And just the correlation there, because obviously if you're behind the chain, behind the sticks, you're probably going to have to throw it a little bit more. So that's probably why the rush is down. But I actually walked up to Jamie today in the practice. I said, hey, man, I got good news and I got bad news. He said, what? I said, we were 71% on 3rd down last week. We lost, by the way, pretty bad. I said, we're 71% on 3rd down. He said, really? I said, yeah, but the bad part was we were 2 for 6 on 4th down. So just another thing, you know, it's like we got to get better. And then Jamie was like, but, you know, that's why we look at conversion rate. And we just kind of started talking. And next year, I'm probably going to change that 3rd down efficiency to conversion efficiency and put 3rd and 4th downs in there, because it don't matter if we're almost 75% on 3rd down, if we're 30% on 4th down. It's just, does it really matter? You know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. All right, guys. Let's get into segment 3, man. We're going to talk about quarterback play. I mean, obviously, I'm really, really interested in this because I coach quarterbacks, and we've actually gone through several this year. And we have a really good sophomore, man. But Coach, talk to us a little bit about your weekly non-negotiables for quarterbacks. Talk about footwork. What do you work with him weekly to keep him dialed in, keep him fresh? I know we can talk about your, the arm too. And do you have multiple quarterbacks, and how do you work that?
Yeah. So right now we have 4 in the room. You know, when it's all said and done, we got 1 that can truly give us a good chance to win on a Friday night. The other 3 are just very young. But they're learning, right? And that's all you can ask for them. Like, I can't speed up their physical development. Like, that's a God thing. That's not a me thing. So what I try to do is try to utilize, right, with not overworking them, every single segment of practice. And I mean that by like the periods that he's not involved in, right? Like Indy's Indy, group's group. Like, we get that. What are you doing during kickoff? Because he's not going to be on kickoff, right? Only thing my quarterback's on is extra point field goal, right? So those times is where I feel like we're getting the most done, right? I take the quarterbacks off to the side and I keep the drill where it's not going to tax them. If I want to tax them on sprint out or whatever, we're going to do that during Indy. These time periods are very specific to like, hey, we're going to work this drop, right? I want to see you do a better job working this, concept with your eyes. And we're going to kind of put us in a bubble in the corner, right? And 2, I usually find the shade. If there's shade on the field, we're going over there, right? And I want them to just calm down and just really focus on those little details that we've been screwing up, right? And then also, too, as it gets later in practice, right before team, right? Because we usually have about 3 special team segments sprinkled in before we get to team. So the first one's more fundamental base, right? What are you screwing up? What do we need to get better at? The second one, I build on that and add the eyes as a part of it. Then the third one is script reading. So I literally come out there and I'm like, all right, guys, here we go. We're going to go dump left Chicago glance. And they go through what they would do. Right on air, we don't throw the football. We just work our footwork. We work our eyes. All right, play 2, trick left tear, Baylor, Q now 4. All right, here we go. And I want to see them go through it. And I'll ask him a question like, what'd the mic do? Well, he left, coach. I'm going to run it. All right, cool. So, I try to do like a script reading before we hit those periods. Now, of course, we have met. We have watched film. They've seen the script. We've talked through it, but there's nothing better than them having to visualize what's coming.
Yeah,
right. And I don't say, hey, it's a 3-4 cover 3. I don't say any of that. Right. What is your operation going to be when that snap hits your hands? Right. Now, if it's a QB run read, I'll say, hey, which side are you reading and make them point. Right.
Right. Gotcha.
But that right there, I think, has been really big, especially when you're in a new system.
Yeah.
How many times can I just say the same thing, but not bore them with saying the same thing?
Right. Well, you're taking what you're going to put in that day and you're scaffolding that process from from a fundamental standpoint. So if we're working, snag, I got to work a particular drop for that. For us, it's a quick 3. And then I got to
Right.
reset for the snag and then, reset for the swing. So then we'll start, I'm with you. I'm going to do the same thing. We call it echo drill. So we'll actually have them echo the call. They'll do the whole thing from the line of scrimmage, calling out protection. And then he's got to call it all out. He'll go corner, snag, back, whatever. And so we echo that whole thing. I love that. And then as we go, our coach does a really good job of giving us the ability to utilize all of our players and special teams as well. So then I'll have receivers over there, and then we'll go through, basically a cap drill or what some people call routes on there. But we'll have the read incorporated with that. But I love it. Really, really good stuff, man. Dustin, what do you guys? So like, when do you guys use the special team stuff? How do you guys use it?
So typically I try to go get the backers on barrels. So we'll put the cans out, and then on Mondays, it's more of alignment period. So based on the family, are they 1 back, H back, pro, whatever they are, let's talk through alignments. Cause like there are weeks, man, and that we have to walk the backer. We're going to walk him to trips. There's weeks that we stay 4-2. There's weeks that we slide. Like we try to keep a mixture. And also it's not more for game plan. It's more personnel. Like, okay, we tried this, that didn't work that best with that kid. So we're going to try this, and then like handling motion's another thing that we'll do during special teams. So it's like, hey, if we're walking the wheel to trips, okay, if they motion from 3x2 to 2x1, what is the adjustment that week? Are we primarily strong rotation or weak rotation that week? And how do we handle it? So that's on Mondays. If it's Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll still go to cans, and I'll take the guards or the tackles, and we'll put in live bodies, and we're going to read the keys. We're going to read those freaking guards, because what I've found out is if you read the guards, they're going to take you where the play's going, or they're going to tell you it's pass set. And then you read through the guard to the backfield on fast 3s and whatnot. But we go through, double pull, single pull, zone, fast flow, just go through over and over and over.
And you know what I did today? Dude, so during special teams, man, we go mesh period. Well, mesh period for us is backs and quarterbacks and sometimes H's. And we're just fitting the run. Well, I go over there, I look at the side field, and we have this blaster. We finally got all the bees off this blaster from the other field. So they brought it over with the truck. I'm like, man, let's go do this in the blaster. And I'm going to have the running backs do the mesh, and they're going to, work the blaster, quarterback run reads to the blaster. Man, we get over there. I'm not lying. We run power right straight into the blaster the wrong way with our starting running back. And he gets obliterated. Dude, it was comical, man. But I was like, thankfully he didn't get hurt, but he was down for a minute. And I was like, that's not the right way to utilize this time period. And thankfully we didn't do a quarterback run to start, because Jonah would have hit that thing wide open, dude. It was awful. But just talking about special teams work, man. Don't do that, guys. Make sure you read the blaster, not this way. That's what it said on the sticker.
Go up there and push it, man. Push it. Like, see if there's any resistance. Or
so hard, man. It didn't move. Like 1,000 miles an hour. Track star.
Hey, off topic. What do y'all think about blasters? Like, there was one at Cannon, but never used it. Like, I know you got it before we went.
It's caused fumbles, man. Like, it causes, especially young kids.
Yeah.
Or quarterbacks that don't know how to run.
We've never had one, but I don't see it as a negative thing. That's, but I
don't run into it backwards.
Yeah, don't go backwards. Like, walking those turnstiles and walk it the wrong way. So I'm sure your kid did not appreciate that.
That's funny.
But
well, Coach,
we went through the other way last week. I was like, well, dang, dude.
Why'd y'all go this way?
Why didn't you tell me? Like, you can tell me they're like afraid sometimes. Coach, I want to tell you what's wrong. Man. If I'm wrong, tell me.
Hey, that kid will run through a brick wall, right? That's what they say.
Yeah,
yes, sir. I'll try this backwards. But
well, Coach, we know how fluent you are in pro quick draw. Obviously, we that's where we first linked up and established our relationship. So, kind of a 2-part thing to get into. Like to update us a little bit on pro quick draw. Shout out, they're also a sponsor and do some great things over there. But kind of tell us what's going on with Pro Quick Draw, and then I want to kind of know, like, what is your pre-practice meetings like? You know, I know you probably use Pro Quick Draw to link the huddle in and all that. So kind of two-part question. What's going on with Pro Quick Draw? And then also, how do you use that? What do your pre-practice meetings look like?
Yeah, so I mean, with us at PQD, right, is like our season is coaches off season, right? Because coaches are looking for a better way, and you're teaching, whatever. So right now is a time where we can kind of like slow down and say, how can we improve, right? Just like we will do for football come January. So we have, I think done a heck of a job of realizing that like PQD itself is incredible, but some guys need certain things and that's all they need. So in our new download that's coming out, we're calling it 5.0 in January. It's going to be very user specific, right? So, Coach Bolton, for you, if you're like, hey, I need to draw a pass game, right? Okay, click in your play editor, click your pass game. There's all your layouts, right? And yes, a lot of them are going to look very Visio-ish in PowerPoint for you guys, because everybody wants the NFL Visio look, but nobody wants to use Visio. So we built it in PowerPoint. But now let's say you're like, hey, I'm going to draw a run game. Okay, well, run game card might look a little different than a pass game card, right? So click the button, switch to your run game stuff, and rock and roll. So we're becoming very user-specific driven when needed, right? And if you're the coordinator, you want everything, load everything in there. You can have it. So I think we're doing a great job of realizing that everybody is not equal when it comes to drawing plays, right? Coach Martin, you got to draw scout cards, and you might need to use this layout. Okay, click. There's your layouts, rock and roll. So I'm very excited about that, to be able to give coaches, especially guys who might be a little technology scared, right? Hey, well, take away some of these buttons that you're never going to use, and here's what you need. So giving coaches different variations of that. And of course, we got some really other awesome stuff I wish I could say right now, but I can't. But it's coming. When we create something, it's not because it's cool, right? You can create cool things all the time, right? We're creating it because it's efficient, it's effective, and it makes your life easier. So I'm super excited for 5.0 to come out, to be able to give the guys another resource that, we haven't had before. Because right now you download PQD, you just get everything. Here it all is. You use what you want. We're going to be a lot more coach specific come January.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, even I think at minimum, any defensive coach that's listening, the amount of time it really does save me in scout cards with the play editor tool in PowerPoint. That's what made me make the full switch from Visio to PowerPoint. And I'll be honest, I still have my Visio membership because it's not through the school. I still mess around on Visio. Sometimes I'll be trying to look for something. I'm like, oh, I made that in Visio. I got to flip over here. But the play editor tool, just the way that you can click on the receiver, find the route, click on the lineman, find the block. Like but it's customizable. It's not that you're plain Jane, it's included with your video subscription and it all looks the same. That's what I like. It's all, we can color code the personnel, which I think is huge. Not that our scout team can represent that. Like we have kids that will go from X receiver to H back to running back. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like, but the color code and everything, it allows us to understand, listen, they may be in a trips formation, but it's 11 personnel. Number 3 is the tight end, but the team we play next week, they put the tight end at number 2 and they put them on the ball. That way they have 3 able to run the bubble. Like just things like that. It makes such a difference. And I think if you could ever get to a program and establish your scout team culture, which I know is crazy, but now you have a way to put pennies on certain players and they color code it. And now it's, listen, these are the guys who are playing these positions. Because, like, for example, we play a team coming up and we need to know where this kid is and we know where this kid is, because that tells us a lot about their play calling, but it also tells us a lot about what family they're getting ready to get into or what shift or motion's coming and all those things and shout out to Pro Quick Draw because it gives us that chance to do that.
Yeah, same for us. Like we'll put that on the board or the screen, and we have Promethean board, so it makes it really, really nice. And we'll just talk about personnel like early in the week, and we'll have like kind of all of our formations set up, and then we'll go over their personnel and say, and we use the R4 system to grade accelerators, and now we know who the positive penetrator is. We'll know all those things, and we use PQD to kind of outline that, and then give our guys a visual reference. And then we go straight to the film and say, hey, this is number 2. He's the star. He's the guy that we really talked about. He's a positive collision player. It just makes it it's a lot easier for our kids to understand because they're visual kids. And then we go to the film and then we go on the field and it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I can't wait for this new 5.0. I'm excited.
And it's got some on. There's like one other thing that is already actually out. If you use our Huddle integration, you download our latest download. It's basically a cut up builder. So if you just want to make a quick cut up, like, I don't know, I just struggle in Huddle making cut ups. Like, I like seeing a grid and being able to filter, sort least to most or most to least, and then be like, that's all I want, right? So we have a new button in our Huddle integration that's already out. That if you're on our latest download, that you can like filter your grid and then just hit it and it'll just upload the grid. No drawings, no slides, just make you a cut up.
Sure.
Nice.
Right. So,
do you
if you're deep,
you don't need Huddle Gold for the Huddle extension in Pro Quick Draw, correct? So
you
like
do
Huddle,
to be able
okay,
to
so you need,
upload into,
gotcha. Okay.
You gotta have the presentation feature.
That's
of
right.
Huddle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feature.
Because like right now where we're at, obviously we got in so late, so we don't have the gold on where we're coaching.
Right.
But
Now for the cut up
school-
thing I'm talking about, you don't
Yeah.
have to, because all we're
Gotcha.
doing is
Okay.
making cut ups. We're not loading a
Sure.
presentation.
Okay,
So
cool.
you can do that with the
Good.
Huddle thing, which
Gotcha.
for a defensive coach, like if I had your account, like I could go in there, look at your opponent, and tell you in 10 seconds their top run on first down, filter
Yeah.
first down, filter run most to least. All right, there it is.
Yeah.
Send the cut up, and now you got
Yeah.
it. So you kind of know what cards you need to make. So
Mm.
that is one thing that is already out that I'm utilizing like crazy every week to on the offensive side. But hey, top pressures, coverages, alignments, right? And it's a time saver. I don't need to spend an hour making cut ups.
Yeah. And then you
Don't
don't
we-
have to see that entire spreadsheet that like it's
No.
outside of your your
Right.
screen. You're like, I got to scroll over and then I got to hit this button like 5 times just to make it sort correctly. And
Mhm.
Right, 138 plays. You're like,
Yeah.
well, I need these 7.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's been a big thing that's already there. But again, we got a lot more coming with 5.0, so
That's
I'm
cool.
fired up about that.
That's
And
exciting.
then
Yeah. No doubt.
second part of your thing, one thing I've been doing this year more than ever is making an install each week. And they're not, sometimes it's a wrinkle, but sometimes it's just a base play. And then right behind it, putting the why, right? Here's the drawing. Here's how they played it. Cause like we talked about before we get on, right? Everybody does the same thing pretty much. This is why we're going to do this. Right. And this is how we're going to do it. And if it's a little different, then I back it with another drawing of here's our adjustment. So every week I've been
like
giving
that.
our kids a new install. So Monday I hit them with the scouting report, that kind of information. Right. And then after we get done with that, they eat lunch, they come back. Now let's hit the install and see the why we're putting in these certain things. So I think that's been really beneficial. And again, we're all guilty of it. You're going to put in a few new plays, and being able to give them a visual why you're doing it, I think has been really, really positive for us. And, then of course I take the printout to practice. So when we run those things, they have a question. I got the drawing with me on the field. So, it's finding different ways to provide the same information, right? But kind of trick their brain. Oh, this is new. This is exciting. This is post wheel again, right? It's just this install.
Do you watch all your pre-practice meetings? Are you all together as an offense? Do y'all ever break up, or is it mostly just as an offense?
Yeah. So Monday we come together as an offense because I kind of want to set the tone, right? And then every day after that, we're going to split up. Now, there are some times where I'll say, hey, let's start together for 10 plays of practice, and then we'll split. And again, it all just depends on, like I said, Coach Underwood does my tight ends. He also is a, special ed teacher. He has an IEP meeting. He has this. Like, okay, well, hey, y'all just stay in here, right?
Gotcha.
But Coach Grubbs, he coaches our O-line. He played, he was an All-American at Auburn and played for the Ravens and the Saints. So he does a heck of a job. He's there every day. So he'll take the O-line, majority of the time. But then sometimes it's good to be together, right? Yeah. Like, hey, right tackle, you have to block down because running back, where's your track? Coach, I'm aiming at his inside hip. Okay, well, if you don't block down, you're going to get the running back killed. And they start to hear why they're doing it. Not just what. right?
Sure.
The what is the what, what's the why? And I think that's been beneficial. And again, right, if you go ahead and look up Alpharetta football, the record's not where I want it to be, but I really feel like every day we're making them better, and I wish, of course, the record was flipped, but we got practice tomorrow at 6:30 and we're working to be great tomorrow at 6:30.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Yep.
So, and of course, PQD helps with all that.
We do kind of something similar, but yeah, we meet in pods. And so sometimes if we're doing a special teams meeting, then all the skill guys are basically in those. And then I'll have the offensive lineman for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then we'll meet together. We'll talk about practice schedule, go over the script, and then whatever install that we have. And then we'll break up into like, all right, OL is going to go with running backs, and then quarterbacks and receivers. And then we'll flip, or I really kind of flip. So I kind of get both when I need it.
Another challenge, trying to get your two-way players in both film sessions.
That's tough, man.
Another thing that because the way we do it right now, we lift 2:20 to 3, and then we go special teams meetings 3 to 3:15, 3 to 3:20, and then it's offense defense, and it's like so they're only going to get they're on So we've had to try to figure that part out, because like outside, it's like, Jamie, like, listen, like what we're installing or what we're doing today, if they don't know it by now, then they shouldn't be playing. Like, let them go with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at it. But nah, Coach, man, it's an hour already. Like it's crazy. Like, man, we gotta
have fun, right?
It does. All right. Coach, this will not release until after your game this week. So I'm just gonna start off with, what's your first call Friday? What you calling?
Oh man, where's the ball?
Right hash -35.
Deuce right, zip, goal, flash, rattle. They're a big quarters team, so we're gonna run scissors on the first play.
Heck yeah, dude! Freaking let it rip, man.
Dude.
We're gonna let it ride. Right now, if the ball's backed up and we're in, we're inside the 10, we're gonna run pin and pull. It's our best run. We're best at it.
Look, turn it loose. Somebody's fixing to score. What is that?
What do y'all?
Hey man, somebody's fixing to score here.
What do y'all pin and pull most out of?
We can come back and with this. Hopefully, this comes to fruition, right? But they're a little bit suspect in the back end, and so we gotta take advantage. We gotta let them know early, like, hey, we're going to throw the ball deep. Get ready for it, because we're a running team. That's what we do. We run the football. But we're gonna let them know early.
Y'all pin and pull to trips tight end mostly, or 2x2 tight end? Which one do you like the most?
We do both. All depends on your structure, kind of how you're playing. We got both installed. Sure. When I've had really good offensive tackles, we've pin and pulled to open side a lot. Right now we got a young sophomore tackle who's going to be probably a Power 5 kid, and then we got a senior who we moved from DN to right tackle who's learning the position for week 3. So we're not doing very much open pin and pull right now, right? We're going to get a tight end or 2 tight ends, over there. So we're gonna protect those guys and make sure we got help for them. Not make them have to be the dog and win. He's got somebody next to him.
Jamie, what's your first play Friday?
So we're a throwing team. So we're coming out in 12 personnel unbalanced and running power.
Love it.
Establish the run, man. We're in the same boat, Coach. It's like we got to establish and try to establish some sort of run game. But I think it'll be, we've done it obviously before, and but it doesn't matter where we're at. We need to try to establish the run and kind of mix it up with a different package. We're typically kind of a hybrid 10-11 personnel, so having that 12 unbalanced might give us a little bit of an edge. We'll see.
We're the different. We're 11, 12, 21 wing. We get inside the 5. Here come like every big person on the team. We're gonna run the quarterback outside zone. We're gonna run kick out. We're gonna run G. Here we go. Right. So that's just what we do.
Yeah.
All right, Dustin.
We are going against a team. We're going against a team. We're going against a team. If they're 10 personnel, 1 back, 2x2 trips, they're 88% pass. So if they come out in 1 back, our first play is we're going to go bear and we're going to go double B gap blitz cover 0 first play. That it's just if you're going to come out in the formation that you like to throw 88% of the time, we're going to go 5-1 box and we're going to
run it the whole game.
Cause some havoc.
Run it the whole game, dude.
I don't know about that.
What are they going to do? Chunk it deep?
Yeah.
No, but they'll throw it fast inside.
Yeah. What happens when teams throw the ball? Right? Three things happen and two are bad. So
yes,
no
doubt.
That's what everybody likes to say about it. Make them throw it over your head.
No doubt. All right, Jamie, go ahead.
Ball, man.
Got the next
All
one.
right, Coach. So let's see. Most underrated staff role on Friday nights. And that could be the offensive staff. Who helps you out the most, or what's the most underrated for you guys?
Good question.
Most underrated staff role, I'd probably say our running back, Coach Smith, who gets like all of our crap to the field. You know, like all the stuff you need, markers, whiteboard, iPads, footballs, right? Like you having to remember all that when I used to have to do it and be the offense coordinator is like stressful. You're like, don't forget something. And by the time the game starts, you're like calming down that you remembered everything. So I'd shout out Coach Smith and his ability to make sure that we have all our crap that we need. We have a great dad crew that helps as well. But the only thing I remember when I walked to the field was the call sheet. So that's awesome. That to me is very, very thankful for all those guys who set the tents up, the TVs, and Coach Smith and what he does. And, you know, I don't have to think about that, which is huge.
I think, Oh, yeah, no. I was going to say, me and Dustin, we actually take the equipment to the field, and then we help kind of unload it. And
I used to do that.
Yeah, I like it just because it keeps my mind off. You know, the 2 hours before the game's kind of always.
I immediately in our staff meeting raised my hand and volunteered. I'll use my truck. I'll load everything and I'll drive it to the game.
I'll go with Dustin.
We don't have, thankfully where we're at, we only had one away game this year. That's a little over an hour. Every other game's within 20, 25
and we got
minutes.
A lot of help.
We have
a group of guys that they're setting everything up. We basically just deliver it. And
it's just like, we don't
off the game a little bit.
We don't mind riding the bus because I do think that's a big part. Like some of the best memories happen on the bus, win, lose, draw, no matter what. But it's like, I've also enjoyed it this year because like I've always said as a head coach or as a coordinator, you need to be knowing what the other guys calling plays and timeouts are thinking. And I think it's a good final, 20, 25 minute conversation for me and Jamie on the way to the game. Like, hey man, how do you feel? Like, what are y'all trying to actually get done tonight? And he'll ask me the same thing defensively. And it's like
complimentary football.
Yep. And like, it's like, hey man, this is what we're thinking here. You know what I mean? Like we'll try to have your back. If something happens here or this, like, hey coach, come out and throw scissors first play. If he throws a pick, we got you, coach. It's all good. Like we'll go get the ball back. Like,
we're doing
it's but no, Jamie, what do you think most underrated staff role?
For me, it's got to be the board holders and signalers. So like today we handed out like these neon hats, different colored neon hats. And we're at that point now where we're so close and everybody kind of knows. And like we have like guys that were kind of on staff and not anymore and like just kind of moved around. They kind of know our offense, like signals and that kind of thing. So we've been, preparing for that, over the course of the year. And now we're got dummy signals and live signals and who's live and who's not, and got guys holding up these boards. And so those guys do a lot. And sometimes they get yelled at by me when they don't do the right thing, but they do a really good job. Now I'm kidding. They do a tremendous job. And, but if we don't have those guys, man, we're wristbanding, which I hate, but sometimes you got to do it.
Yep.
I'd say for me that, one of them's staff, one of them's non-staff. The staff one it's just a nice touch to someone bring you your headset. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is. It's just it may not ever be the same guy, but a lot of times it is. But there'll be one guy who's got 6 headsets in his hand. And he's like, "Here you go, coach." You know what I mean? It's just that's a nice little gesture. But then how about the ball boy, man? They're kind of like the OL. Like you don't know that they're there unless they screw up, and then everybody's like, "We need a ball." So I think, and we've had a really consistent ball boy this year, isn't it? Coach Jolly's grandson, he's the best one.
Yes, Braxton.
Braxton.
He does a great job.
He does. He does. He actually
Have you guys ever been ball boys before? Have you ever been a ball boy little Dusty.
Dude, look at me. You think I was a ball boy? Dude, I'd have got cussed out so
Dude,
quick.
I was a ball boy, man. I was a ball
heck
boy
no,
when my
dude.
dad was coaching high school football, man. I would go out there and juke all the players as I'm running out the ball. Yeah, dude.
I was in the stands eating cheese balls. That was the ball boy I was. That was me, dude.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff, man. Well, I probably need to wrap it up, man. We're all in the middle of
Sure.
the week and
No
we need to
doubt.
get into bed. But Coach, man, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and we can't wait to have you back on again.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. You guys keep doing your thing, keep providing great information out there for coaches like myself to be able to turn on the drive and listen to. I mean, this is awesome stuff, and I'm honored to be on here twice. So thank you for having
First
me.
repeater. The first
Well-
repeat. Well, second.
Yeah. Won't be the last
But
time you're
Nova
on,
Zone,
Coach.
or I don't know, Kirby Smart, or somebody was the second one.
Yeah, we got Kirby.
That's
He's
funny.
helicoptering in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Mazzoni though. I
Dude.
saw he's going to UCLA. Like,
UCLA, man. Going to be the OC.
yeah.
He
Really?
should have dropped the news to us. He probably didn't even
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah.
until right after.
Yeah, what's his who was the OC there?
Tino.
The guy from from
Tino.
Oh,
Indiana.
Cincinnati. That's right. Yeah.
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 so,
He's a good dude. I like it. I like him a lot.
Tino. Yeah, when he was at JMU, we had a quarterback at Cannon. We took a visit up there with his family and got to sit down with Tino. He's such a professional guy too, man. Like he does it the
Yeah.
right way. Good coach.
Yeah. Sometimes things just don't work out, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is
Well,
what it
guys,
is in this business.
Don't forget, check out the show notes. We got a lot of promo codes and great things. You know, we have Team Builder Practice, R4 Football Systems, Pro Quick Draw, Optimum Grading. And with R4 Football Systems or Optimum Grading and Pro Quick Draw, if you use the promo code CoachSpeak, you get a percentage off. And like you know, we only promote things we believe in. And Coach is another firm believer in Pro Quick Draw, and it saves a lot of time in the season. But appreciate y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you
All right,
guys.
man. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Coach. You too, man.
Thanks for tuning into the Coach Speak podcast. If you're interested in being a guest speaker on the show, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at coachspeakpodcast1@gmail.com. And if you have a question for our Q&A segment, don't forget to submit it through the form in the episode description. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.